This is a recording of the Commission for the Blind's board meeting held at the Portland, Oregon office and online via Zoom on August 1st, 2025.
Meeting is called to order. Max, would you please take roll?
Oh, certainly. Nadira Bloom is noted as present. Lillian Goodman.
Present.
Thank you. Laurel Hudson.
Present.
Dr. Labram.
Present.
Our other commissioners are absent today, but Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Max. We'll proceed with the approval of the June 6, 2025 meeting minutes. First sent out beforehand. I hope all of you had a chance to review them. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
This is Laurel, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Laurel. I'm looking for a second.
This is Lillian. I'll second.
Thank you, Lillian. Max, you have to take.
Nadira.
I approve.
Lillian.
Sorry, say it again.
Lillian, do you approve the minutes?
Yes, I do.
Laurel Hudson
Yes, I approve.
and Dr. Labram.
I approve.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Max. Now we proceed with the audience introduction.
Oh, that's another sheet. Big print screen over here. So I had a dream of introducing everybody who was here in the room, but I don't know most of you. And I suddenly have two computers and I'm at my wit's end. First, I'd like to introduce Dacia Johnson, our Executive Director. Kat Martins, our CFIO. Angel Hale, Director of Vocational Rehabilitation Services. Michael Wolf, our Business Manager. Sales Operations Manager. Ronald Stewart is on the call, Director of Business Enterprise Program. I know I have more people than that. Can't see you. Should I go to students next? Why don't I introduce the students? So we have Gustavo Alvarado with us, joining from Salem, Aiden Markovich. And from Portland, we have Michael Laws, Emily Ramos Cervantes, Andrew Cobus, Chanel Sarmiento, and M. Underwood. Would anyone I've left out, please introduce yourselves?
Like Mary Michelle's on.
This is Mary Michelle Sosny with the Legislative Fiscal Office.
Thank you.
Their guests.
We have Carolyn Frank and Vinny Gouache from the speed vote. Did I say it wrong? Gouache. I can spell it. Can't see it. From the vote, we have.
And then you chat.
Yeah, sorry. My name is Chad Furlong. I am with Trellis. I'm a program specialist and I've been job coaching with Micah and Emily and also Danny down in the Salem SWEP program.
Welcome.
And Haley Paquette with Quinn Thomas, contractor supporting the commission with marketing.
Welcome.
My name is Jennifer Rice with the Higher Ed Coordinating Commission. And I've been the site supervisor for Emily and Micah.
Welcome. Have we missed anyone? Thank you.
All right, well, welcome everyone. Now we'll proceed with what I know we've all been waiting for. The SWEP 2025 presentation.
Wonderful. Well, I'll kick us off. This is Angel Hale. I'm the Director of Rehabilitation Services. Good afternoon, commissioners and everybody that's here. We're really excited to be, I'm going to say, sort of wrapping up SWEP in a funny way, which I'll just mention that we have some students that have gotten extensions on their work experiences because their employers love them so much they didn't want them to leave. So an example of that would be the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, because they're here with students that literally are still in the work experience, even though their programming technically ended last Friday. And so we've got people in various stages of either closing the program up, some that are going to be finishing up tomorrow after a night of celebration, right? And then some that concluded last week and some that are continuing. So it's a really exciting year for SWEP. Not only have we had people get extended in jobs, but we've also had people get job offers that they either took or did not accept because they didn't have the ability because they're headed back into school. But lots of happy employers, which I'm really delighted to say. I will say that we have had a very active community-based program this year, of which we have a few representatives. And we have a bigger group this year of Salem SWEP represented students than we've ever had, which I'm really excited that we had a small enough agenda for the meeting today to accommodate all of this. And I think it'll be really fun for all of you to get to hear all of the wonderful experiences, including our very first presenter is going to be a young man who is in our exploration part of our programming, which is the community-based. However, it's not just community-based anymore. As we've been talking about in the last few board meetings, we have partnered with Washington Blind Services and the Washington School for the Blind and have started allowing that the students that can't do the full participation in the Portland-based programming, which we're calling emerging leaders, if they can't participate in that, but we are able to participate in a shorter program that doesn't include work experience, but doesn't include work readiness, recreation, and independent living. We had 2 students participate in that, and one of them is here to talk to us today about that experience. So we're going to get the whole breadth from the Yes One and all the and explorations, as well as emerging leaders, which is the Portland-based program. So I think we are ready to go. If you would like to kick us off, Aiden.
Well, I could.
Please do. And just introduce yourself and kind of where you're from in the state, and then the things we talked about earlier, the takeaways that you got from experiencing that programming.
All right.
Right.
So, my name is Aiden, coming out of Wilsonville, Oregon. And this year in SWEP, this is basically my first time doing anything outside of the state of Oregon, if you can believe it. It's like,
nice.
I was pretty thrilled when I came into Washington. I saw Washington, and like, it's a pretty cool state actually, because like, as we walked around the state doing their recreational activity, I was like, I'm gonna move here. But anyways, the things I took away from like the last 2 weeks was basically pretty much a lot of the things that school would never teach, that regular school could never teach me, trust me. Because they actually taught like us about interviews, departments, and like basically all job readiness better than actual school could teach me. I learned it faster, like within like half an hour, better than 13 years of school could ever teach me.
Oh. What were some of those activities, Aiden?
Some of those activities?
Yeah, where you were doing some work readiness. What were some of the things that you learned?
Well, I learned about the actual, like, what do you call it? Steps of applying for Social Security. I've learned what a food card can actually do. I've learned about how to apply for like these departments. I even learned how to actually get a job, which I needed to learn that, and I haven't learned yet that even though I was basically 1 year of getting ready to get a job. So I'm thankful for at least learning how to get a job. I even learned how to do a job interview. So yeah, schools need to up their game. That's what I've learned from Yes One.
That's funny. What about some of the recreational activities that you guys participated in at Yes One?
Oh, those were cool.
What did you do?
I mean, we mainly walked around town, we're touring a lot of places. And honestly, I gotta say, walking around town in Washington is pretty cool.
What kind of places did you go to?
A lot of the places were basically in Oregon, so I gotta say, first we went to the Portland Airport. Then we went to, I guess we were basically our whole group was job shadowing someone, so I guess I was shadowing someone at the zoo, apparently.
Oh, yeah. So Aiden, just to call that out, we had our Yes One, all of the Yes One program came to Portland and did, the whole group of them did job shadows of our Portland-based students and
Yep.
made a full day of that. What did you think of your experience to job shadowing at the zoo?
Honestly, I just hung back and listened to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really the type to have a lot of questions. I just like
Took it all in?
took it all in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So you're-
I just stood back and listened because I wasn't really about that. I was really tired that day. I just wanted to walk around, see the sights, what I could see at the sights, anyways.
Love it. Love it. Well, Aiden, there may be questions at the end, but thank you so much for sharing your experience. That was really, really powerful, and we can't wait to hear more about your journey. So hang tight, hang with us if you can, and we're gonna at the chair's request, we're gonna wait for questions at the end.
Okay.
Angel.
Yeah.
Perhaps the ones that are on, so.
Oh, okay.
It might be better yet to just say this questions, no, just in case.
Okay. Do you want to do to Gustavo and then do questions for the ones on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. Plan B, just to give you guys a little bit of freedom, we're going to have Gustavo go next, and then we'll allow questions for those students, and then we'll let you guys, if you want to log off for any reason, you can. Okay, that will give you a little extra freedom on your end. So Gustavo, can you introduce yourself, where you're from, and your years in? I think this is your first year in SWEP, but tell us the number of years in SWEP and what you got out of SWEP.
Hello, my name is Gustavo. I did Salem Swap. I worked at Taste Buds Cafe in downtown Salem. And one thing that I'll take from SWEP is that I learned that I can work and that working is something that I do want to do because I was always scared of like my vision being the thing that would not allow me to work or I feel like unsure or nervous about working. But doing this work experience for these 5 weeks I did for really like allowed me to realize that I can work and that I want to work. And then this coming mid-August, I'm going to start applying for permanent employment. And I feel like I took the skills I've learned from SWEP will help me keep and maintain those jobs I will get in the future.
Love that. Just to call it out, Gustavo worked so that is a business enterprise site in Salem. And Shar, so Gustavo, what did Shar think about you? I'll let you.
I think she said like I was one of the greatest workers she's like ever had from the time she did SWEP, and then that she's willing to give me a part-time job over there in September when school starts for the weekends.
Lucky.
Yeah. I know. I love that. Yeah, she couldn't say enough. And just talk about, first of all, a couple of the things that you did there that you'd never done before. And then also a little bit about your recreation experience too, at Silver Creek.
A couple things that I did that I never did was stalking and like seeing how vending machines look inside. So every morning I would come in from like 8 to 9. I would stock, so I would get all the drinks, see the vending machine, see what like I need to restock, and I would just put them back in there. And I also did a lot of cleaning. I actually didn't know how I would sweep because I couldn't really tell if there was like the floor was dusty or had stuff on it. But I learned that I could just use a vacuum instead of having to rely on my eyes. I could just rely on the sound of the vacuum picking up all the crumbs. So that's something new I learned that I probably wouldn't have learned if I never tried. And one other thing I did was food prep. I helped made food with Char. We made some hamburgers and fries. I made some for myself and my job coach, and it was really things I really never did before.
Yeah.
And And the only recreational activity I went was to the Silver Falls hike, and it was really fun. I saw like a bunch of other people there that I probably have never met, and then I just went with my guide, and we would walk down. We saw like a bunch of like cool sights, hear the water, like feel all like the nature around you. It was a really fun time.
Love that. And Gustavo did bake some cookies for the end of SWEP celebration last week as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
And they were delicioso, I
I
would
love that.
say. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Gustavo. Commissioners, anybody in the room actually, any questions for these students?
Okay, well, I will go.
You'll go, okay.
So what did you like the most about the program?
Could you hear our chair? She said, what did you like the most about the program? You want to go first? Either one of you.
I'll let him go first.
Okay.
Oh, me?
Aiden? Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a lot actually, but I guess the only thing I can narrow it down to was, well, the actual learning experience and the connections I made there. My mom was right on that.
Love that. Mhm.
But moms are always right.
Yes.
Moms are always right.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Excuse me.
Love that. What about you, Gustavo?
To me, I'd say it was like just working. Like the experience made my day like feel like fulfilled, feel like I did something. So I really like that aspect of like working.
Oh, I love that. And I will say I got to visit Gustavo's work site, and he was working away. Like he was talking to me while he was working. And Shar said, I don't know what I'm going to do without him.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know.
He's a legend. Sounds like a legend.
He's a legend. Any other questions, commissioners? Or
For Aiden, this is Dr. Labram.
Yeah.
I was just interested, what types of jobs were you shadowing?
I don't really know what exactly she was doing, but I think she was like one of the staff at the zoo. Like, I don't really know what what field she worked in, because again, I was just trying to tag along, take everything I could in. But
Uh-huh.
I do know that she did work at the zoo, obviously.
Okay.
it's one of our students who was at the celebration this morning, and she was basically educating about animals at the zoo. And so
Oh, neat.
and she made friends with animals at the zoo. It was a very beautiful experience. So so I think it was a lot of it was education. Yeah.
Thank you, Aiden.
No problem.
Any other questions for our Zoom based?
Yeah, this is Laurel. I have a
Yeah.
question. I just always like to hear about the dorm life, or where you guys did you guys go home
So this would be
at each day, or did you guys meet up with your other swepies?
So Laurel, are you talking about, because so Gustavo is community based and Aiden was at Yes One, which was residential. So you kind of want to know a little bit about the residential aspect of Yes One?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. What was that like, Aiden?
So, I guess staying in the dorm room, it was all right. I mean, showers were awkward as hell, considering there were two stalls and the only thing that was blocking them was like a tiny little curtain. But other than that, it was pretty good. The graveyard staff were like legends, because I would always wake up like 5 a.m. or something like that, and they would always help me with my coffee. Yeah, his name was Carl. That was the guy who was like the night staff, and every time I got up, I just saw him out in the kitchen. He would always come in here like 5 a.m. and help, with my coffee. It was pretty good. But other than that, dorm life was all right.
Did you stay? Oh, you go ahead, Laurel. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Aiden, did they give you a nickname?
Did they give me a nickname?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Did they give me a nickname?
I don't know. You guys are always up to trouble. From all the stories I've heard over the years, so I just feel like there's a little secret that you need to share with us.
Honestly, I'm always up to trouble. I'm never getting out of trouble.
Love it.
I'm just joking. But I mean, I didn't never really actually receive any nicknames, but the nickname I did have was DJ Macro, if you can believe it.
See, there we go. Yep.
You do have that. Oh.
I always be posting up, making beats every time there was like a break or something. Every time I had to stay in hall or my dorm, anyways.
Ooh, can we get a sample of your beats? Let's go.
I don't have it on me right now. My iPad is dead. Speaking of which, thumb's tweaking up with my power strip. Hold on.
You plug that in, and maybe Gustavo could tell us about his nickname, or if he became little buddies with anybody at the restaurant, or
Buddies, what?
Gustavo, that was a question for you.
I didn't really get a nickname, but I did become really close with my job coach, the owner, and a coworker there named Amanda. They were all pretty super cool. I'm gonna put them all in references in my resume. So yeah.
awesome.
Love
Yes,
that.
it's always good to have a nice reference.
It
Congrats,
is.
both of you.
Love it. Any other questions? Hearing none, Aiden and Gustavo, thank you so much. And you are welcome to stay and hear the rest of the SWEP students. Or if you need to book, you're welcome to leave as well. So thank you both so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna stay.
Okay, thanks. All right, next up, we have more from from our SWEP Explorations program. And ready to take it away?
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Hi everyone. My name is Emily, and I am a third-year SWEP student in the exploration-based program. This year, I got to work at the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, and I really enjoyed this year because I got a lot of career development, and I kind of got to go into their networking events and watch how the state does meetings. We also did some resume building, and we kind of got taught how to make a good resume that we could use to get a job at the state. We all so we got to choose several career profiles that we were interested in, and kind of look at those, look at the salaries and stuff like that. I also was able to gain skills such as adaptability and flexibility. At least I had a lot of tech trouble at the beginning, so I kind of got to learn how to, adapt when a screen reader isn't working, or use different screen readers when JAWS isn't available, things like that. We also did some mock interviews, which really helped me develop kind of that sense of what an interview is like. So we did panel interviews, and we got to do some informational interviews. Some of them were collaborative, so me and my fellow SWEP students would kind of interview the person together, and some of them were on our own. I also had the opportunity to go to two of the community-based recreational events, which were the Silver Falls hike and the dragon boat racing. And those were really fun because we got to, all the SWEP students that were able to attend kind of got to connect with each other, and got to make some friends or meet up with old friends. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. And we'll open it up for questions at the end on this one. So if you want to go back and we'll see. Thank you, Mike. Okay. You got it, Micah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Find out.
Right here. Hi.
Short walk.
It's a short walk, yeah.
Okay. Oh, whoa, whoa. Look at myself.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Micah. This is my second year doing SWEP. The first year I did it in Portland, and now I'm in Salem. Yeah, SWEP is really transformative. Let's see. So many things to talk about, so little time. Let's see. I am with the Higher Education Coordinating Commission this year. They have been the best fit I think possible. I appreciate how much thought goes into where to place SWEP students when we talk to people in OCB about where we want to be placed. My interests have always aligned with human services, specifically in mental health, and I had no idea how much intersectionality that had with state work, and I would have never known that had I not been placed in a state agency like the heck. Like Emily said, the heck staff did a lot of work to make career development a big part of the job and the internship. So I learned a lot. I made my resume much better than it has ever been. I made so many connections. They set up so many informational interviews where I got to talk to so many people across HEC's various sectors in manufacturing, HR, XYZ. And we got to go to a lot of networking events, and I have so many business cards. My wallet can't fit them all. I'm really happy to have been here. And a big part of SWEP, which I wish I got more here in the Salem one because I wasn't able to go to any of the events that we had outside of our work on the weekends. But I would have loved to. But it was still great to get to know Emily even more. And I met Danny, who me and Emily also worked with during that time. They're both great. And last year, I met so many SWEP students in Portland. I think it's very important to make connections with people who are also visually impaired because I have never had people understand my experience so deeply. And so yeah, they're gonna be with me for life. I love all of them, all the connections I've made. It's like no other. And the experience that I've been able to add to my resume, I want to say broadening and zooming out. As much as we don't want to believe it is so much harder to get a job with a visual impairment, whether it is employer bias, whether it is people struggling to work around your accommodations. Let's be honest, it's mostly employer bias. Having that experience has made me so much more competitive on paper, and it shows them that, shows anyone that I apply to that I have the ability to do the job that I say I have the ability to do the job for. That is absolutely transformative, and it gives me so much more opportunities, not to mention the skills that SWEP has allowed me to build, those soft skills, those skills for everyday life, taking care of myself. I know it's really hard to overlook, especially when you're in a family where you are the only one who is visually impaired. It is so easy for me not to learn how to do things. I know Gustavo was talking about sweeping. Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't sweep properly because I was like, how am I supposed to get all of this stuff? I can't see all of this stuff. I would always leave something. It would always not be 100% done. I was taught a lot of tips and tricks. I use my phone, take picture of the floor, zoom up in, see if there's any dirt left. I use the vacuum like Gustavo, because you can just hear that. So many little things that can be so overlooked. SWEP has changed my life probably forever in so many different ways. So yeah, it is absolutely unnecessary to continue having because I really need and want to continue doing SWEP, and I also want this as an open opportunity to visually impaired youth like myself. Thank you.
Love that. Beautiful. More maybe questions coming. Yeah, sorry, I forgot what order we were in. Come on up. Ready to introduce us.
Hello, my name's Em. It's my first year part of SWEP. I was in the Portland program. And I worked at Scrap Creative Reuse, which is a craft store, on the central east side of Portland. I learned so much when I was at SWEP. I think that the first week we developed a lot of skills related to personal branding and disability disclosure, how to write a resume, how to do an interview. All of those things I'm keeping with me, packed inside my little brain. It was honestly an honor to be part of this program. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think during work, the most major skills that I learned was communication with my employers and how to kind of accept things as they are and not let my personal perfectionism get in the way. It was our first year working with Scrap as a work site, and they were so welcoming and so inclusive. They were very receptive to all my ideas related to implementing more disability-friendly additions to their store. I made a tactile map. I made a little presentation about what it's like to work with a disability, specifically blindness. And they were so open to it, and I really appreciated that. I think it would be a great place to have people work in the future. And then at the dorms, I really strengthened my skills in cleaning and in cooking. I also had some doubts about sweeping before I came here, and the grid pattern really works. Cooking was something that I really like to do. I like to eat, and it was so fun to learn how to spatchcock a chicken, to learn how to make tofu. I worked a lot with the dorm staff to heighten those skills, and it was very impactful for me. And I think in terms of recreational activities, all of the NWABA events were so fun. I loved the Silver Falls hike. I loved the soccer. I loved all the times we went to the well, that's not technically coordinated by SWEP, but we did go out to eat a lot. We built a very strong community at the dorms this year. It was so wonderful. I loved everyone here. We're all such different people, but we're all connected by our visual impairment, and it was really powerful to be able to connect with people in that way, because similarly to Micah, I've never really been around people so intensively with visual impairments, and getting to see how much we share experiences. That was great for me. I also, similar to just Gustavo, was very doubtful about my capability in working with a visual impairment, and I feel very empowered in being able to work now. I'm actually going to be pursuing a part-time job at Starbucks after this in my hometown. So that's pretty cool.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a little exposure with your job coach, right?
Yeah.
To some Starbucks here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love that. Anything else?
I don't know. I really enjoyed being able to strengthen my independence. I feel a lot more secure in my ability to navigate the world now. I've really strengthened my belief in my cane and orientation mobility skills. That was something that I tended to avoid beforehand, and now I feel a lot more confident Yeah.
Beautiful. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, there may be more time for questions. Thank you. Right there. Right, you found your spots. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Hi, my name is Chanel. I'm a first year Portland SWEP student, and I worked at OMSI for the duration of SWEP, and I got to enhance my professional professional writing to like emails, and I just really loved how to it was my first job ever, so I loved being able to learn, and I made a
Where were you?
huh?
Where were you?
Oh, OMSI. Yeah.
That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and I got to actually present yesterday about a project that I was working on, which is accessibility at OMSI. And I basically talked about how we could make their paleontology lab more accessible because a lot of the things that a lot of the fossils are behind glass and you can't really touch them. So it isn't really a touch-based thing. So was trying to find how we could make the paleontology lab more accessible. And we found a way that we could 3D print the fossils and also have enlarged prints and also having braille on them as well. So it could be more accessible for everybody with a visual impairment. And then dorm life, I also wasn't confident in sweeping. My aunt would actually be doing the most of the sweeping. Or like someone in my family members would be doing it instead of me. But yeah, I loved learning how to like cook more foods because I am more at home a baker more than than cooking. I just loved learning how to like learn new recipes and enhance my independent skills during SWEP. And I also loved meeting the other SWEPies and getting to know them. I also just love doing anything from NAABA and the blind soccer. I like the hiking, but I just loved my experience as my first year of SWEP.
Wonderful. Yay. Okay. Anything else to add? You did a great job.
No.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Then you may be coming back up for questions. Be ready.
All right.
Beautiful. And Chanel has already made it known that she would like to get an opportunity to speak to the legislature at some point about her experience with OCB. So we've got her on our docket. Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Andrew Kobus. I use he, him pronouns.
Hey, man.
Hey.
What's up?
I am a third year emerging leaders SWEPy. And this year I worked at the Portland Japanese Gardens. It was really awesome. I'm gonna preface by saying no year of SWEP is exactly the same, which is what I love about it, because each year of SWEP, I never felt bored or I never felt like I fell into a rut when learning new skills. There were always skills I could improve on, new skills I could try out. Like, for example, this year in the dorms, I tried baking and apparently I know how to make some pretty good almond cookies now. So, some to say. But yeah, working at the Portland Japanese Gardens was very different from my past two job experiences with SWEP. The first one being an intern at Bravo Music and Arts Camp, and the second one being a sound editor and stage crew for the Let's Talk podcast collective at Portland Community College. So Portland Japanese Gardens is very different. I had the privilege of working in the visitor relations and gardening departments, where I got to interact with customers in both departments actually, and learn landscaping skills, a lot more that were traditional to Japan. I loved the way that some of the tasks were very tactile, like taking the moss off of azalea shrubs. You don't need to use any vision whatsoever. You just feel the moss, pluck it off, and then memorize where the bin is to throw the moss in. And it's very satisfying. It is so satisfying. It is so nice. I love it so much.
That sounds awesome, actually.
It was really great. And also the little minutia and detail that you really get an appreciation for patience in doing the simple things, like pulling mint out of the moss carpeting in the gardens, or all the little details of, oh, this particular plant has a little bend in it, so we can set this on there when we're walking through this area. Just these little intentions and all the patience and thought that goes into it. Apparently the garden curator is thinking 50 to 100 years out, far exceeding it. So like, also not only like appreciating like the details and learning patience and skills in doing different tasks, but also thinking long term is another skill that I really got the chance to learn and improve upon. And I mean long term, as 100 years is a while. Like I like it may or may not be a while. 100 years, I don't know. But yeah. Now in the dorms, like there's always like I'd call myself a person who is pretty organized in terms of my dorm room. Don't ask about my bedroom at home. Let's pretend it doesn't exist. But, yes.
It's real, relatable.
Even with all the cleaning skills and cooking skills that I learned the previous 2 years, there were still more skills I really wanted to try out. For example, learning how to shave for the first time, or baking, which I mentioned earlier, that I had never done independently before this year. So again, no 2 years of SWEP are the exact same. There's always skills to build upon, always new skills to try out. And this year in particular, with some commute challenges, it really got us to really dive deep into the problem solving aspect, especially concerning commutes. And like in everyday life, there's not really you have to just go for it in everyday life. But SWEP really gives us that time to work with O&M instructors to plot different plans in case, well, what if the max is running late? What if we run into a person who might be exhibiting unusual behavior and we need to take a different route? Different things like that. So I learned how to plan plan B and plan C and plan H or something for all of my different commutes, because getting to the Japanese gardens is quite interesting. But yeah, getting to dive deep into problem solving, which is applicable to all sorts of things across life, that I just, again, like Aiden said, school does not dive into stuff like this deep enough. They don't tell you all the things we learn in prep week. They don't tell you like tips and tricks for resumes or personal branding or elevator pitches. They don't tell you tips for getting to work and plan Bs besides paying money to get an Uber, which, you know, sometimes we just don't have the budget for that.
Thank you.
They don't tell you about necessarily, like, my school has a culinary class, but it's not available to everybody. And additionally, because SWEP is geared towards our community, it's even better because we get to learn these skills with a focus towards our individual abilities and that accommodate our needs, which just makes the process so much simpler than having to go to the teacher every day and being like, hey, this came up again and I can't do that because there's not this accommodation in place. Like, no, SWEP has it down. And that's what I really like about it. So yeah, that was my experience. I'm just glad I got to connect with the community. And did you know that before I went to SWEP, I didn't use my cane in school, but after connecting with the visually impaired community more and just feeling that confidence, knowing that I wasn't alone, even if there was no one else in my school who used a cane or was visually impaired, it still brought me that confidence and comfort to know that there were other people like me who were going through the same stuff. And SWEP also just brought that wholesome, heartfelt energy too that I carried with me. And now I use my cane in school. Like I use it throughout the rest of high school and I plan on using it in college. So not only is it good for learning independent living and working skills that are unique across all the years of SWEP, but it is also important to foster that sense of community and looking out for each other. So thank you.
Where are you headed next, Andrew?
I am
Speaking
heading
of-
to University of Oregon to pursue, I'm planning on pursuing a double major right now because I like challenging myself.
Double major, okay.
So my major may change in the future depending on my interests. I have a lot, which is also why I like SWEP. Get to explore all these different interests. But yeah, I'm heading to the University of Oregon. I'm probably gonna get a job at the university there just to make some money to pay for like room and board and stuff like that, because that's expensive.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm just excited to take these next steps. I'm also very nervous, but I'm very excited.
I'm so excited for
yeah.
you too. That's great. And then I will shout out, since Andrew hasn't mentioned it, that Andrew was our Sweppy of the Year. So yes.
Ooh.
Congrats. It's awesome.
All right. The only thing I haven't heard talked about yet, and Andrew, since you're up here, is Swepsgiving. Let's talk about it.
Oh, I have a lot to talk about in that category.
And Aiden, you can chime in too.
Swepsgiving is something so last year during SWEP, it wasn't called Swepsgiving or anything like that, but we went over to the Yes One campus in Vancouver, Washington. They cooked the meals and we brought the dessert. This year it was flipped. So Yes One came to our campus on PSU and they brought the dessert and we cooked the food. And it was a really interesting experience to have an entire group of people cooking for like 30 individuals, because again, school doesn't teach you how to work with the group to cook for 30 individuals. So there was a lot of we planned in like a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, got all the ingredients, all the recipes we wanted, checked in with Yes One for any dietary restrictions, how many people would be coming, had to adjust portion sizes accordingly. And with that, we cooked for like 8-10 hours, some more, the people who cooked for a less amount of time were busy cleaning the dorms. So we had all this entire process to get ready, and it really did test our communication skills, how tight-knit our community was, our cooking skills, our cleaning skills, our organization and planning skills, all of that. And I think it turned out really well. None of the food was burnt this year. It's the same with the cheesecake last year, but strange things happened in Ondi, and we blame it on a ghost. It's true, we do blame it on a ghost, but yeah.
My fault.
So we got to connect with Yes One. They arrived and we just SWEP students, emerging leaders students, served the food that we made, and then we all sat down at these long tables that we had arranged and cleaned, and we cleaned the room and just had nice conversations and connected with each other. And it was really awesome to just hear everyone connecting about different interests. Like Aiden and I both love producing music and just music in general. He's definitely got more expertise in that field than I do. I'm still gathering the basics, but yeah, just learning cool stuff about each other. Beyond our visual impairment as well, because while it is a part of our identity, it does not define us. So
Exactly.
Love that. And Swepsgiving.
Swepsgiving. It was Thanksgiving themed.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. It was Thanksgiving themed. So we had chicken instead of turkey, and we had to use frozen cranberries instead of fresh cranberries for the cranberry sauce, but it turned out well, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it was challenging for our team to go, where are we going to get turkey? Yeah, so chicken it was. Yeah.
Chicken.
We had great turkey chicken. People kept mixing turkey and chicken. So it was the turkey chicken.
I still remember when we were all laughing about that.
We have great funny names for the chickens, like Schlond Poofa, which is apparently a Barbie Dreamhouse reference that I didn't get until Swepsgiving, but sure.
No, that is just hilarious.
So,
love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, the floor is open. And so I just want to recognize the chair, Daisha, if there's any time constraints that you want to put on this, but this is where the questions would come in. You guys have any?
Is it the pleasure of the chair? What do you want to do, Nadira? Just
Yeah, just open it up.
Questions, yeah.
Okay, we've got students in the room. We've got Vinnie, Carolyn as our SWEP coordinators, and we do have our HEP, both job coach and employer here. It's kind of unique. So any questions that people have? For this team?
Well, Andrew, I was just curious, will you be taking charge of Thanksgiving at home this
Good.
Probably, honestly. Like, so I shared my family tradition cranberry sauce with Swepsgiving this year. I've been making it for several years now, but I'm probably going to be expanding on that and working a little more on some of the other dishes as well. So, unlike the dorms, we don't have like 8 or 9 different kitchens to work with. We have one small kitchen for people in the family crammed into a small kitchen. So we'll see the capacity, the carrying capacity of our kitchen space.
Nice.
But I am planning to help a little more with that.
Great.
Easier to find turkeys in November usually.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes.
Other questions for anybody?
I would actually like to add on if I may. So, Andrew, you said you used to work as a sound editor for a podcast?
Yes.
How is that for you? What did your job consist of doing?
So that job, so for context, that was last year's SWEP, and that job consisted of, so we received unedited like recordings and transcripts from podcast recordings that were done either out in the field or on site after set was built. And from there, we would clean up any errors, lower background white noise and stuff. We used a program called Descript, which not only helped with the transcript, but also helped with the audio editing. A lot of detail and stuff had to go into that. And then after the main like errors and artifacts in the files, and the sound files were cleared up, we'd send it off to someone who would mix and master the files for the final product, because we didn't do any of the mixing and mastering on our site. We had someone who was working remotely as part of our team to do that.
Oh, I see. I was just about to ask. I don't know if you or because you said you didn't do any of the mixing and mastering. I was about to ask what digital audio workstation do you use, but I don't know if you use that.
LMMS. Because I'm poor.
Oh.
Yes.
I'd recommend GarageBand if I'm being honest with you.
I've tried it. It didn't work out for me.
Oh, why not?
And I'm just gonna jump in here. Aiden, this will be a beautiful conversation for you and Andrew to connect on. I think you guys offline would have an amazing conversation. So that sounds like a ton of fun you guys are gonna have.
Honestly, I might just work as a sound editor if I do SWEP next year, or if I don't know. But
Awesome.
I'm definitely going to chase that career.
You should talk to your counselor to get some conversation going on, Aiden.
You know what? I might.
Okay. Great. Other questions for Sweppy? We've got all the Sweppies at the table now, just so that they could scooch up so you can see their faces.
All right,
Hey, Sweppy.
Go ahead, Laurel.
Yeah,
No, oh, girl, you go. No, you go, please. I keep interrupting everybody.
No, this is Nadira. I have a question for Emily. So you said you were looking at career profiles. What are you interested in doing?
Personally, I'm interested in computer science. And specifically, I'm interested in software development and making software more accessible for screen readers and people with disabilities in general.
That's awesome. We can always use help in that.
Yeah,
Right? And so I just want to say I'm really proud of all of you, especially hearing, something that I went through myself with the, finding the courage to use your cane, because mine was an accessory for a while. It was like I didn't want I didn't want to have all the eyes on me, the blind person, which I am, a blind person. So the great shark cook, after I was complaining about a bus driver who was kind of rude to me, told me, well, he's not gonna know you're blind when you have a can folded up under your arm. So I'm proud of all of you for making that step. And I just want to recognize the work of Sweet Carolyn and Scary Benny.
Oh,
my
gosh. It's so scary.
Scary, Benny.
That was a little.
So funny.
Okay, Laurel, go ahead.
Thank you, madam. Yes, and I just want to piggyback what you said, like definitely to all the Sweppies who are in the room and those who couldn't be here with us today, but you guys should all take a moment to be so proud of yourselves for overcoming everything that you have worked so hard this summer to just improve yourself, to improve your life, and to improve your future. So super stoked. I'm so sad I couldn't be there with you guys. But I just have a question for the first timers for the first year. What do you guys have for any words of wisdom for like the Sweppies coming in next year? Do you have like some little words of wisdom that you'd like to pass on to them?
Question.
Actually, can I have a moment to think about that?
Yeah.
I can go next. This is Chanel. I think I feel like for future like other Sweppies for next year, I think it would be like don't be afraid to like basically like branch out and like basically don't be afraid of being yourself, because at the beginning I was a bit quiet and I never really came out of my shell until like the end of SWEP. So I feel like it's just like feel like just know like everyone is trying no one will judge you. So it just don't be afraid to like go out of your shell.
Even sooner, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Good one. Yeah.
Well, adding on to what Chanel said, I was going to say, don't let yourself be your own worst enemy. I think, like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to kind of limit yourself from exploring different avenues that you really are interested in just because of your disability. And that's I think something that held me back a lot. I think encouraging the upcoming SWEPIes to just do it, just go for it. Because it's, even if you don't always do everything perfectly, you can and you will, and SWEP gives so many opportunities to succeed. And that's honestly probably my favorite part about it, is how many avenues they open up for you.
We might have to have you work for Nike next year, Anne.
Do it. I remember that meme.
I have a question.
Yeah.
First, I want to say congratulations to all the SWEPies for such a successful SWEP season. And then this question is for anyone. I was just curious, when you started your roles at your SWEP job, were the responsibilities defined at the beginning, or did you have flexibility to kind of grow and freedom to kind of choose different responsibilities as you became more comfortable and became familiar with like the position?
Wants to grab that one?
I can start talking about that one. So I remember the first year doing SWEP, it was asked on a little sheet how well I felt that I could do X activity. I filled that out, but in spite of that, as SWEP went on, I think what they wanted to focus most on was where there were gaps. And I think that was the most important thing. So there was some flexibility with the responsibilities. I remember last year, they let us kind of, what we all chose to do was kind of roll a dice for the activity that we'd be doing and being in charge of that week. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
So we did get some flexibility there. But they did hone in on what they felt we needed most help with, which also helped. So it was a combination of the two that made it feel very self-led, while also pushing us to focus on what we needed to improve on.
That's nice. And Micah, I think you're talking about dorm independent.
Oh, yes, dorm independent living.
Is that what you were?
Yes, I don't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah, I love that. Is that-
Either
Either one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can speak to dorm.
Love that.
I'd like to share about the sort of flexibility that was present in at least my work site this year. So working at the Japanese gardens in two different departments kind of split up over the time that I was working there. They definitely, it wasn't necessarily free form flexibility, whereas they gave me a lot of options to choose from once I went through some basic training. For example, in visitor relations, I could go down by the koi pond and answer questions there. I could just roam the garden to make sure people were staying on the path and answer any questions that people might have. I could be at the info table or inside the learning center to answer any questions there, provide maps, direct people to the restroom or the drinking fountain, things like that. In terms of the garden department, like weeding, demossing, I got to make the cool shapes in the sand and stone garden with the rake, which was awesome. Cleaning the tsukubai near the tea house. So it wasn't necessarily all free form once I went through basic training, whereas I was just presented with many options in both departments to pursue. And there were certain days where there'd be a push in certain areas for the gardening department to clean up a certain area. But outside of that, I could ask, hey, could I please demoss these shrubs? Or could I try and feed the koi again? Things like that.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you to both of you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for our team?
I just want to express my gratitude to Angel and all of the staff and the employer, heck, and the job coach, and especially all the SWEPIes. This is one of the things that keeps us going as an agency, just knowing that each of you are learning skills and starting to craft in your mind, what you will perhaps pursue in adulthood as a career. And I'm so grateful for you being here and who you are, showing up as human beings that want to do something positive in the world. And I'm just so optimistic about the future of Oregon's workforce, and it's in large part because of all of you. So thank you for being here, and thanks to the staff for all the hard work.
Yes, amen. Appreciate you guys. Any other questions before we call it a wrap for? We've got
Angel, Laurel, I have one more question.
Yeah.
I just want to know where the celebration dinner is tonight. Where are you guys going to party?
Where are you going? You guys know? Oaks Park? Well, you're going to Oaks Park, and are you going to eat?
Probably not.
Okay, so you don't know yet?
We're not huge fans of theme park food.
Yeah. Foodies. We have some foodies. There's a lot of speaking.
Either go to eat. Do we want to go out to eat? I don't even have a plan that yet. Well, I think we should go to Chipotle, guys.
We can discuss it with women.
That's not the Oaks Park. That's,
Yes.
we are going.
That's all.
Love it. Well, and on that note, I know that there are people ready to get back to Salem for our heck group, and also get to Oaks Park and get changed and go play. So you guys have earned the right to go goof off. I hope you have a beautiful, for those of you that are Portland based, I hope you have an amazing night tonight. Celebrate your hearts out, get some rest when you get home. And I'm so proud of all of you, and thank you, team. Vinny, Carolyn, our employers, heck, especially you, they are our exemplary employer. I just have to say, we had amazing employers, but heck, knocked it out of the park with all of the just extra things, including bringing students here, which was amazing to bring them here for the whole day for this website. You guys are free to roam. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got fun. Bye.
Outspoken.
I know.
Amazing.
I love these people.
All right.
And you, and those of you on Zoom, you are free to roam. We appreciate you both coming here today. Have an amazing weekend, you guys.
You too.
All right.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, I will see you guys.
Bye, Aiden.
Hi, nice to meet you.
All right.
I
I'm waiting for your final. All right.
For water.
Oh.
Hold on.
I'm okay, thanks.
All right, see you guys later for real this time.
All right, bye, Aiden. Have a great one.
Y'all too.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay.
Later.
All right, so here is where open up for public comments. Is there any public comment today? Even though we just had quite a bit of it. Right, so hearing none, we now move on with the executive director report. Aisha.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll start my report with a donations and financial report from our CFIO, Kat Martin.
I love these meetings where the SWEPIes are here and get to share, and I hate being the act that follows. Talk about a buzz. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners, and guests. Because we're engaged in the usual prolonged accounting close, which is the norm at the end of Oregon's state fiscal year, all figures I'll be reporting on today are preliminary for June 30th at the end of biennium 23-25. Referring to your bequest and donation statement, interest earnings on the cash balance in the fund during May and June totaled just over $7,000. We also received $8,000 in new donations. After transferring $199,870,000 to our operating accounts that this board approved at our last meeting for use in the older blind program, the cash ending balance in our donations account on June 30th was $788,748. Referencing your financial status report, the Commission's legislatively approved budget after the early actions in the February 2025 long session of the legislature was $30,774,900, 67 positions, and 67 full-time equivalents during 23-25, where 8.5 million was general fund, 1.1 million other fund, and 21.1 million federal fund limitation. Based upon 23 months worth of activity and considering preliminary results for June, a variance to our legislatively approved budget is projected for the end of the biennium, with general fund fully utilized, other fund under the approved limitation by $9,000 or 0.8%, and federal funding under the approved limitation by $89,000 or 0.3%. The total variance I'm projecting for the end of the 23-25 biennium is $98,000, where the approved budget is again $30,774,900 and projected spend $30,676,795. Now that everybody's eyes are crossed.
Easy for you to say. I will say, as it's close to being within budget is, I'm not sure we've ever gotten that close.
I was there.
Too close for comfort. Really transparent. But we made it. All right, any questions for Kat on the donations of the financial report?
No question, Kat, but thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, right. You just
Although numbers make my head sick, but
I'm glad it's not only me.
Sometimes they make my head sick.
And Kat, this is like our super busy time because she's closing out the state fiscal year and the biennium. So there's multiple closing activities happening. And then right behind that immediately is the federal fiscal year close of September 30th. So it's like triple whammy time. While we're all enjoying the sunshine, her staff are usually not enjoying the sunshine as much, sadly. So thank you, Kat, for all your hard work. And speaking of Kat, she was recognized, and it just came out this morning. There is a technical assistance federally funded entity that is Vocational Rehabilitation Technical Assistance Management. It's a consortium of experts in our field, and she was highlighted in a podcast called The Manager Minute, where she was selected to just share her experiences before she came into the VR system and some of the lessons learned for directors and finance directors around the country. So I haven't actually listened to it yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and it was just published. So Max can push it out to all of you if you want to listen to our CFO being highlighted for national attention. So that was all.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is a federal update, and we have not had any movement on the RSA commissioner appointment. That is not atypical. It's only 6 months in, it feels longer, but it's about 6 months into the new administration. And the previous appointee, it was, I think, 20 months before the new RSA commissioner got nominated. So we're still in the waiting mode, which means that there is an interim acting RSA commissioner, which traditionally has meant there is not any substantive policy issues that have moved forward. So we're waiting on that front. We did get some news late yesterday evening about the 2026 federal appropriations. Some good news in that the Senate Appropriations Committee acted on the bill that would basically did a couple of substantive things. The first thing, it codified in the appropriations process that they do not, Congress, the Senate at least, does not want any changes to the U.S. Department of Education. Why that matters is because the Trump administration is one of their signature policy issues was to promote the dismantling of the U.S. Department of Education. Congress has made a move in the appropriations process to suggest that that is not the direction that they want to go in. And it would require approval by Congress because it would have to have a change in federal law. So that is favorable for our program. The other positive thing is that the Trump administration in the president's skinny budget and then the full president's budget suggested a reversion of the vocational rehabilitation funding back to federal fiscal year 24 levels. And the current version of the appropriations bill that the Senate is working up actually has not only has it at the 25 level, a slight increase, it also includes the cost of living adjustment, which is actually in statute. So if that makes it through the full appropriations process, it's very favorable for the VR program. And given our state of our tight federal funds, it's very favorable for us. So that's good news on that front. It is early on and that it still has to go through the federal, the House of the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the House, if you've been listening to the news, has left for August. So they're not even coming back until September, which means that the House is not going to take up this appropriations bill. We have two sources of information. We have the Council of Administrators and Vocational Rehabilitation, which is a representative group of all VR agencies. And then there's the National Council of State Agencies for the Blind, which is obviously the specialized agencies for the blind. And they both have policy advisors, and the policy advisor on the NCSAB side has suggested that she doesn't think there's any chance that they'll actually pass a budget by September 30th. This is pretty common. More often than not, we end up in a continuing resolution for the period of October 1st till whenever they get around to approving a full budget. This past year, just as a reference, we didn't get the federal fiscal year 25 full award until I think like the 24th of April or something. So well into the second half of the federal fiscal year is when we found out what our federal fiscal year 25 budget looked like. So it's not the best. It makes our world and Kat's world in particular really complicated because we can't forecast what our appropriation looks like if they're just giving us a continuing resolution. And continuing resolutions, what it does is it basically divvies out portions, piecemeals of the dates that they approve, the amount of funding that they approved the last year. So for example, it's not uncommon for them to say, we approve from October 1st till December 1st. So we will get an award that's the equivalent of what we got for the previous fiscal year that would cover that particular time frame. So it makes managing the financial aspects of the work more complicated. But we are anticipating more than likely a continuing resolution scenario, given the fact that the House left early and they're not going to even start on appropriations until after Labor Day. Any questions about the federal stuff? All right, my final item, and I do see that she joined us. Our Director of Independent Living Services, since your June meeting, formally announced she intends to retire from state service. So Melinda Carlson is with us. Melinda has been with the agency for 10 years. And so she has decided to retire at the end of September, right? September. And but she has some vacation she needs to burn through. So she will be leaving us for the most part by the end of August. So I just want to recognize you, Melinda, for your years of service to the agency. We are going to be having an event, I believe, during the lunch hour on the 27th of August to honor her and celebrate her service. It's going to be Zoom and in person. So if you wanted to pop on, you're welcome to do that. But Melinda, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything to the commission.
I am honored to have been able to spend 10 years at the commission. And Nadira, I just have to smile because you were like at the beginning of my, when I started as a rehabilitation instructor. And do you remember what year that was by any chance?
17.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. So it was prior to moving into the director position. But anyway, I love those full circles of coming around. And it was such a wonderful 10 years. And of course, I love my job and I'd like to stay forever. But I also want to say that my parents modeled retirement for me in such a beautiful way, and I would really like to follow their footsteps and to travel and spend time with friends and do that long list of things I never have time to do and read the stack of books next to my bed and things like that. But it's just been such a pleasure, and I'm so impressed with the Commission for the Blind and the heart and soul that all of the employees bring, and that it is still a very family-oriented feeling and culture to work at the commission. And I don't think very many not only state agencies, but I think just nonprofits in general can say that anymore. But I have always worked in the service industry, and I'm just so grateful to everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you. And I'm going to say something here. I'm glad you were able to make it today because I know you're going to hear this from a lot of other people, I imagine, but you played a real pivotal part in me being here today and being as independent as I am. Because you waltzed into my apartment with that special brand of tough love of yours, Melinda. And you got me out of my pity party. And you were the first person, you were my first experience with O&M over here. And got me using my former accessory of a can. Thank you so much. You really made an impact, and I'm sure not just mine, but lots of other people's lives. Thank you.
This is Dr. Labram, and thank you for your dedication and helping the patients I sent to you. That's I really appreciate that. And where to next? Where are you traveling to first?
We're going to stop you in retirement.
Undecided. The first thing that's happening is I have lots of friends gathering over Labor Day at my home. So we're going to have camping trailers and a band and it's perfect because it's Labor Day and I'm retiring. And so once that's done, then we'll probably have some Nordic adventures, Iceland, Norway, going that direction.
That's fantastic. Yes. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
And in Melinda's retirement, we are in the midst of recruiting for her replacement. So if all things happen as we hope and expect, we should have a new Director of Independent Living Services for your October meeting to meet you. So we are in the process of doing that currently. All right. And if there are no other questions, Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. And we now go into old business with the Business Enterprise Program update.
Good afternoon, everyone. In the Business Enterprise Program, we have one of our new licensees has taken over their very first facility. Super excited about that. It's up in Portland in the Edith Green building. So they will begin operating their own micro market and a little cafe with fresh baked goods and some fresh foods. So we've been hard at work getting them set up there. We have one trainee that will be we're expecting to be licensed within the next 30 to 60 days. So they've made it through the training program. As you know, we piloted our food cart program. We launched that at the Capitol building in Salem. It's right next to the Capitol in the park. We launched that in March, and things have been going as good or better as we hoped for. They're doing really well down there. They're doing a lot of people every day. It's very popular. It's got a great reputation. If you get a chance, go by there, out of sight food cart. So I'm super excited that they're doing so well down there. And so we're looking to do our second food cart now. And we're looking at Tryon Creek State Park. It's in the Portland area. Very busy park year round. So we're looking for a great opportunity there. We're actually working with OPRD right now to find a location within the park and hopefully launch that within the next 60 days-ish. And then Shar down in Salem at the Labor and Industries building, who Gustavo worked with, actually, she has launched a catering business. And she launched that about 3 weeks ago, and things are going very well for her. She's done some big events. There's been a lot of interest. So we've been helping her out with that as well. So a lot of good stuff going on. Does anybody have any questions?
Are you helping with social media presence for marketing?
Yeah, actually, that is next on our checklist. Once we get the Tryon cart up, then we would like to I think we're just going to start with maybe Instagram, Facebook, and at least get some exposure for our brand. We're really excited about Tryon because there's so many people through there that's going to help build the brand, and then we would like to get the social media aspect going as well. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you. All right, moving on to the best practices survey results and updates.
Well, good afternoon, commissioners. You made my job really easy right now. And I also want to do a shout out to Max for doing the individual surveys with each of you to help, just kind of educate through the process, because it only happens once a year. It's just confusing when you just get a survey, and you're just like, did we do this? Like, I don't know. So we were able to obtain from each of you that we did meet all of our 15 best practices. So yay, commission. And thank you all for taking the time. And thank you again, Max, for giving that individual attention to each of the commissioners so that they could, if they didn't know, you could share the evidence of, where this did happen, or just kind of share historical information. And so best practices are met, and that means that I will be able to finish our annual performance progress report and then report that back to you in October and get it submitted in September. Any questions? Super easy. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving into new business with the overview of the agency budget 2025-27.
Yeah, commissioners, Kat provided you with an overview of kind of where we landed with the final numbers with the agency budget. A reminder that because of the general fund constraints, we did not get the older blind position we had hoped for. And we have already made the adjustments to reflect, the not getting that position. And so at this point, I just want to make sure there are not any questions about the budget as legislature approved it or any concerns that you may have.
Can you remind us about the position of or O&M instructor?
Yes. So the governor's budget, the agency request budget included an older blind teacher to expand the resources in that area. The governor's budget also included an older blind instructor. The governor recommended that to the legislature, and the legislature did not approve an additional position, largely due to general fund constraints. In the previous meeting, what we shared is that there is a recognition in the subcommittee that we go before that actually does the recommendations for the full Ways and Means Committee, that there is a need to expand the resources in this area. And so what we're hoping for is that this pause with not expanding the program will tee up a more robust conversation in the future as resources allow. Because there is evidence, and even in the most recent economic forecast, there was, even on the economic side of Oregon's data, showing the increase in the aging population, which, as we know, the aging population suggests that there will be more individuals with age-related eye conditions that will require independent living services. So what we're hoping for is it was a temporary disappointment. But that we recognize the constraints, and we are hoping for a more robust conversation that may even expand beyond the one position that we had hoped for in the future.
So you're saying because the older blind position was not approved in terms of like the budgetary expansion, that's why there's also no O&M instructor, or are they the same position?
Oh, you're talking about the vacancy?
Yes.
I think. So the vacancies, the Eugene position still remains vacant. And we have the challenge that we're competing against every other state who's also in the same shortage. It's a national shortage of individuals and who have the orientation and mobility skills. We've done a couple things to do that. The one thing is we have been offering relocation expenses. Our budget, as it gets tighter, makes that a little harder to do. But we have offered that for difficult to fill positions. The other element that we've done is at the present time, we have 2 employees who are in other more entry-level positions who have expressed an interest in staying with the agency. So we've partnered with Portland State University to get them to attend their certificate program in orientation and mobility. So our hope is that we can do a combination of continuing to recruit nationally, but growing our own for folks who may want some career advancement and want to stay with the agency, who are also interested in pursuing orientation and mobility.
Great.
Thank you for that question. Other questions about our budget?
Hey, this is Melinda, and I just wanted to elaborate for a moment and say that we do have 4 orientation mobility specialists out of the 8 positions on the older blind team.
Thank you, Melinda. And in all transparency, we are spending, as you could tell from our end of the biennium, we are spending at a higher rate. We're seeing more and more clients, and we are, the clients have more complex needs, and the cost of doing business has gone up. So those 3 things make this next couple of years tighter than we had experienced in the past. And I would say probably in the last 5 years for sure, maybe closer to 10 years, we haven't been this tight. We were pretty tight in 2017. And then through a once in a probably generation negotiation, we were able to increase the portion of the federal award that we received. We did have 12.5% of the money that comes to us for vocational rehabilitation, and that was increased to 15.6%. So that gave us a reprieve. And then we had the pandemic, which slowed down the pipeline for services. And that allowed us to build up a surplus that we pretty much wiped out at this point. So you will probably start to hear more from us on the financial side as we project what's moving forward. The decisions that will come before the commission, we talked about order of selection a little bit. That's a decision that you would help us make. There are some other more difficult decisions as resources get constrained. The one that comes most to mind is that we right now and have always tried to serve the entire state for older blind independent living. Most states, if they get a limited amount of resources like Oregon does for independent living, are actually either contracting that out and letting contractors serve as many as they can and not trying to do statewide-ness, or they're focusing with their internal resources and they may just serve populous areas, for example. We have not made some of those more difficult decisions, and we've delayed doing that because we did not want to create some inequity geographically. If somebody lives in LeGrand, for example, we don't want them to have less access to services than if they live in Portland. But the truth is, there is already some inequity built into the system because the highest wait time right now for services is in the Portland metro area because the more people live here. So people actually in Portland are waiting longer than Central and Eastern Oregon because we're able to get to them at a faster rate. So we are doing our best to try to manage the system within our existing resources. But I also want to be transparent as we're kind of thinking through some of these long-term budget constraints. Without a legislative solution, we may be teeing up some, difficult questions in terms of how commissioners can you help us make the best decisions possible within the existing resources that we have. That makes sense. And I expect those to happen this budget cycle. There's only one other business item, Madam Chair.
Oh, I was going to see if you were saying something else.
No, I'm done rambling.
Okay. So now we go on to the strategic plan develop 27 and 29, right? 2027.
Yes,
29.
and if you can imagine, that should say 2026, that's an error on my part. If you can believe it or not, it is time for us to start the early phases of updating our strategic plan. I'll kick that off mostly starting in October. But I just wanted to as a teaser, get us to start thinking about our strategic planning, particularly because of the change in our resources. And so our current focus areas in our strategic plan are workforce participation, which is around increasing the workforce participation rate of our individuals who are participating in our vocational rehabilitation program, mostly helping them keep their jobs. Aging in Oregon, which is really helping improve access and timeliness of services. That's the investment area that was delayed due to general fund constraints at the legislative session that just recently closed. The third priority focus area is in succession planning, and that's really largely focused on service delivery staff because we cannot operate without the direct service staff that have a specialty that we need to deliver the best services. Business and community, which is in part focusing on supporting our business enterprise program, but also other community-based partnerships and business engagement that we do to help support our businesses in Oregon retain their employees. And the final priority area which is in alignment with Governor Kotek's priority, which is customer service. And that one kind of speaks for itself. So as we're moving forward with updating the strategic plan, we'll have a series of conversations over the next several meetings that will help us either update, do away with some of the priorities, focus in and hone in on particular areas, or at your direction, we can come up with something, entirely different. But that will be a process that we will kick off formally in October. And typically, where it's hard to even say this out loud, but we will be kicking off, Kat will start preliminary 27-29 budgeting, starting early in 2026. And then ideally, we have our strategic plan at least our strategic priorities fairly solidified by April of 2026. And then by your June meeting, we have those finalized. And depending on what budgeting process the governor takes up next time, we will kind of go on a parallel track with doing the agency request budget using the governor's directed process and our strategic plan. And the goal would be that those meet at some point in the future where it's very clear that the agency budget request is directly aligned with your direction that you provided the agency in terms of where you want us to spend our time and resources to benefit the most Oregonians who are blind as possible. Any feedback about timing or anything, any concerns from the commission about the strategic planning process? At some point, we have pivotal resources on contract to do the next round of strategic planning with us. So there will be some where I'll just bring stuff to us. And then at the point when it feels like it's more beneficial to have a facilitated conversation, then we'll bring in pivotal resources for that part of the planning session. All right.
Great. Well, that concludes all the agenda items. Does anyone have any further comment or questions? Just checking before I adjourn. All right, hearing none. It is 2:45 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.